Good morning. Before I get to the latest breaking developments on whether the United States is going to fully engage in a regime change war against Iran or not, which is not yet clear, let me just say that the St. Petersburg Economic Forum is beginning today, which will bring together 20,000 people from 140 different countries. This is greatly different than what was intended by the British-directed Biden, Obama, Bush, Clinton policy of isolating Russia. I'm Diane Sare, president of the LaRouche Organization, and today is June 18th. So as I said, the St. Petersburg Economic Forum begins today. They will have representatives from 140 nations, including statesmen and political leaders and dignitaries from more than 50 nations. President Putin will give a plenary address to this forum on June 20th. And the topics are the Russian economy, a new quality of growth, a human being in a new world, the environment for living, and technology's aspiration for leadership. There's 19 business forums. There will be billions and billions of dollars worth of deals made at this forum. And I guess that means people are optimistic enough to think that we can still avert a descent into total apocalypse. That's what the world is working for. The G7 meeting just ended. It started off well, I thought, with President Trump making a pointed remark to the new Canadian Prime Minister, Mark Carney, that it should have been a G8, that Russia never should have been thrown out, that the Ukraine-Russia war probably wouldn't have happened if Putin had been at the table. All of that is true. It leaves people wondering why the incredible inconsistency vis-a-vis Iran. Other not so good news is the Genius Act just passed in the Senate. That means we can have a potential destruction of the US dollar to be replaced by cryptocurrencies. And if you go with stablecoin, which is tied to the Treasury, once you get to a massive amount of stablecoins in circulation, if everybody wants to get their dollars, this can actually crash the system. It's very dangerous. So the BRICS countries are much less of a threat to the dollar than our own US Senate. Now, otherwise, Maria Zakharova on the radio spoke about the situation in the Middle East. She said that these strikes between Israel's unprovoked aggression against Iran, she said, leads not just to escalation and the Iranian response, I will add, but to a direct threat to the region and the world because attacks are being carried out on peaceful atomic or nuclear facilities. The nuclear threat has a practical dimension, not a hypothetical one. She has a point. If you're just going to bomb people's nuclear power plants, nuclear research facilities, you might be releasing something that you actually have not considered the results of your action. Now, as I've said repeatedly, the point of regime change is not Iran or Russia. What the British are doing is orchestrating a regime change against the United States. President Trump is destroying his relationship to his base by going along with this. And I'm afraid his talks with Keir Starmer at the G7 meeting probably did not have a good impact. I'm just going to share with you something from social media. This is today breaking: Trump considering strike on Iran ahead of crucial Situation Room meeting, from Axios, or this is actually yesterday, 18 hours ago. Colonel McGregor, no, Colonel Douglas McGregor is not a nobody. He was one of Trump's advisors, I believe, on the National Security Council in his first term. And then McGregor further posted, warmonger Lindsey Graham has just called for regime change in Iran, wants Trump to go all in. Trump, is he hearing his base? Apparently not. He posts on Truth Social, somebody please explain to kooky Tucker Carlson that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. That's not even the issue. Iran was open to a deal. They want nuclear energy. Russia had even put forward a proposal that perhaps Russia could work on the uranium enrichment so that Iran did not have to do it, so Iran could have nuclear power. So this is all a cover story, but apparently Trump seems to have bought into it, but his supporters have not. Look at some of the responses that he is getting. Tucker is right. America doesn't want another war. You posting a few minutes ago that people should evacuate Tehran, Iran, implying that something is going to happen there imminently, is not peace through strength. This person on Truth Social, I noticed, has 54,000 followers, including General Michael Flynn, among others. Here's another post. If you don't know, that's the Ukrainian flag and Israeli flag, and the person writes, "Not my flag, not my war." And then on the Israeli flag, also not my flag, also not my war. Then this, you really disappointed the majority of your voters. Regardless of who's president, you remain the puppet of higher forces pulling the strings. This started on your watch. You haven't achieved anything. You promised to stop the wars, and you always try to put the blame on Sleepy Joe. Now, these are from Truth Social. These are from Trump's base, which Marjorie Taylor Greene is a part of. She has been very vocal that this war against Iran must not happen. I will say, with a number of veterans in my family, that if the United States begins direct engagement, if we drop bunker buster bombs on Iran and Iran retaliates by attacking and destroying American military bases all over the Middle East, which is what they have said they will do, that will be on Trump's shoulders. He will be responsible for that. Also, people are warning of an Israeli attack on the USS Nimitz, which is in the region, like the USS Liberty, which was attacked by Israel and sunk in 1967, killing Americans on board and others. And somehow the truth has never been admitted about that, that Israel is capable of staging a false flag to draw us into war. So watch out. We must not have a war with Iran. Call your congressmen, call your senators, call the White House. We don't need this. Iran is not a threat to the United States. And if the United States works with Russia, an agreement can be made where it will be clear that Iran is not a threat to any nation in the region, including even Israel.